This is my new motorcycle, the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. And here's why I bought it. And there's one very special reason for people who are into a little bit different kind of touring why I bought this machine. That will come later. And with that, welcome to the 3 Miles MC. So after sadly my Yamaha XJ600 was not running anymore, I was in need for a new motorcycle that I can continue making big motorcycle trips with for this YouTube channel. And I went with this Interceptor. Probably many people would ask why, especially when there are different offers like the Himalayan and real adventure bikes. So the first reason why I bought this motorcycle, I was in very special circumstances because I work in a motorcycle store and I was in desperate need of a new bike. And they just have gotten this used Interceptor in and they offered me to have it for 4,500 bucks. This motorcycle currently has 3,000 miles on the clock and still has a little bit above 2 years of guarantee. So it was a really good offer. So for me, it was basically the cheapest way to get into new motorcycle reliability. Even though I've now gotten this bike only for 4,500 bucks, there are probably similar offers on eBay for bikes with a little bit more mileage, because this was a really good deal that still make for a really solid package overall. That's probably interesting for anyone who also wants to get an Interceptor 650. Also, this was a really good offer for me because if you consider when I had the XJ, I constantly needed to bring the XJ to be repaired, and that sometimes costed quite a lot of money. And those 4,500 bucks, if you compare that to the cost of ownership of the XJ, probably I run cheaper with this motorcycle in perspective on the next 2 years than if I would have kept the XJ. Even if I continue learning to work on that motorcycle myself, it's just nicer to have a motorcycle that runs. Also, because if you try to get a motorcycle running yourself, there's a huge invested time cost basically. Right now I'm not that good yet at working on motorcycles, so I want to spend more time riding a bike. Also, why I considered the Interceptor 650 was I do adventure touring, and that's not really the bike you would think of for that, right? Like Interceptor 650 is a vintage bike and a street bike. But in my opinion, I don't really think that in many cases adventure bikes are that great for actual motorcycle touring. For example, right now I do mostly tours in Europe, and that is very road focused. Most of the time I ride on roads, even though that can sometimes seem different in the videos. Like I would probably say I do about 90% on road and 10% off road. And this motorcycle is very capable on the road and at the same time still can handle some light off-roading. So this is exactly what I was looking for. And also something that would have probably been a similar priced option would have been the Royal Enfield Himalayan, but the 25 horsepower on the Himalayan are for me just not enough. And I think with 47 horsepower, which is how much this bike is having, it's a really nice sweet spot and it's perfect for all kinds of street riding and riding in normal conditions. Also, this machine comes with a lot of customizable parts, so it's really easy to adjust this motorcycle to what you want to do with it and also to turn it maybe into a scrambler. Because there's just so many parts, skid plates, this bike already came with a skid plate, and high swept exhausts and all the type of stuff you want. And it also comes with 18-inch wheels already. Despite the off-road stuff, what also plays into touring for me is reliability. And also this motorcycle is known for being very reliable, even though there's still some forums that discuss this on the internet, and I won't 100% trust it yet because everyone says they're really reliable and I want to believe them, but I need to see for myself first. But I think in general we're probably very well off because it's just a new motorcycle basically right now. Also, a point that really influenced my decision, I have a motorcycle YouTube channel, yes, and this is a very commonly sold bike, so a lot of people can probably identify with this motorcycle and see the stuff that I do with it and will feel inspired to do the same, yes. But at the same time, it's my personal bike. I don't earn enough money to live off this at all, so I just need to have fun, basically. And this is the motorcycle I want to have fun with. Because when I started riding, I always wanted like a Triumph Thruxton or something like that, and when I searched for my new bike I looked so much for cafe racers and so on. Of course it's a horrible idea to buy a used cafe racer or something like that, and even though I sometimes feel like they're a bit dress up for adults, I still like them, and I also basically want to do dress up as an adult and buy a cafe racer and feel like Steve McQueen. So that's why I also got this motorcycle. Also, this motorcycle is just so pretty to look at and has all those beautiful features, all this chrome. The tank looks beautiful, and it's just, if you look at it, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. It has this vintage look, which can feel a bit fake when riding it, because you definitely feel it's a modern bike with ABS, anti-hopping clutch and all that stuff. And it's weird coming from bikes that are actually 30 years old that feel old when riding them, like the Yamaha FZR or XJ that you've seen mostly on the channel now. And also with those beautiful looks, it's a motorcycle that I want to ride right now. I'm 22 right now, and I just want this to be the motorcycle where when I'm 22 and I look back at my life, that I, in my memory and on old photos and so on in the future, sit on a beautiful motorcycle. That has been definitely a part of this decision too. I often see older men talk about the old motorcycles that were new when they were young, and they talk about them with such great memory. And I constantly ride old cheap bikes from eBay, which is of course awesome. I cannot take part in those conversations like 20, 30 years down the line. And from the short experience that I had with this motorcycle till now, it's a really great bike. I like it. It also has some shortcomings, but I will get to them in another video when I do a full review on a bike like this. I just want to be able to be part of that conversation 20 years down the line, basically. And now let's get to the big reason that also inspired me to buy this motorcycle. I currently plan my next motorcycle trip, and the last destination I visited was Iceland, and in Iceland it was really cold, and I just want something really nice and warm now. So I decided to go onto a motorcycle surf trip, like you see in all those vintage motorcycle commercials, and they just seem unrealistic, and I want to find out how unrealistic this is, or if this just actually works. And for this motorcycle, there is actually a motorcycle mount that you can put on this motorcycle. So if you are into a little bit of different kind of motorcycle touring and want to try different things, you can bring your surfboard along on a motorcycle trip with this bike. And I think that's so cool. It's a little bit quirky, but I really like it. And yeah, I definitely want to do that. And I cannot show you the mount yet because it hasn't arrived in the mail, but like that is just amazing. And I want to see if the stuff that you see in commercials can be done with it. Like I definitely want to try that. After filming this video, I went onto one of those late evening rides that probably everyone does, where they just go to their road and they're alone there and just hit the throttle. And it's amazing how this bike feels. It is so good, and now that I have bought it, I have to say I'm really happy with it. Especially if you are a beginner and find this video, I can definitely recommend the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. Also, it's just a beautiful feeling owning this bike, especially for me, because it's the first time that I own some kind of more reliable transportation. I always had quite old cars, and this thing just fires up, works, no weird tricks that you have to do to keep it running. I really appreciate that. So I hope you guys definitely look forward to the new motorcycle surf trip that's coming on this channel. And I hope you enjoyed this video. My Patreon and my other socials are down in the description. And I also hope that for some people who maybe consider an Interceptor 650, that this video was helpful. See you soon.